sitting here with a woman who's not just an old soul, but someone who had to carry the pain of generations while trying to carve out her own peace. She's also the founder of Mahogany Initiative, a nonprofit dedicated to uplifting women and children. To find happiness is to live, and that's why I'm a Freak for Life. I'm your host, Cammie, and this is the Freak for Life podcast. To find true happiness is to live, and that's why I'm a Freak for Life. Tell everybody who you are.
Okay, my name is Alicia.
Okay.
I have a nonprofit that's to help women, children, kind of people of color, but I'm trying to help everybody.
Okay.
But I'm focused on us. Because the way our society is going at this point in time, a lot of online narratives and podcasts say it's the men, it's the women.
Yeah.
Because the women raise the children. If we change everything about us as women, even if we're not mothers, the whole society would change as a whole. We have more power than we actually realize we do.
Yeah. Do you think it starts within the womb, though? Do you think that, like you said, don't start with the men, which we know it took them to be created, from the egg or whatever. Do you think once we were carried in their womb, it started their, bringing their traumas into us?
I think that it starts before the womb.
Okay. When
it's actually a bigger, a grand picture. It's kind of like they thought of what came first, the chicken or the egg. So it starts before the womb. If we start in modern day times now, it's gonna be before you even get, when you a little girl and you get to the point of even picking a mate or conceiving a child. Because now they saying studies showing everything is in your DNA. If you have trauma from your mother, your grandmother, most likely you didn't carry that on, even if you're not aware of it.
Right.
Or it goes into the teenage girl or the young adult woman who has to actually take care of yourself and your body before you even conceive a child. Or when or the way that you are moving in this earth and your energy while you have a child in your womb. I don't think some women understand the sacredness of being pregnant with a child. Like the energy and the correlation to the of even having a life in your body.
Yeah.
How precious you are, how precious your body is, how precious your womb is. What you consume in your body, what you consume in your mind, what you watch on television, what you listen to.
Yeah. Because I got a friend and she was just recently pregnant. And I was telling her, I'm like, don't you know your baby can hear everything, feel everything. You have to put yourself in a better, environment for your baby. You understand? Because if you crying, I swear, I used to cry a lot with my second child, right? Just because of the things that I was going through in the relationship, okay? And my baby's a crybaby now. And I was like, I had to really identify. I'm like, that is crazy. That kind of, I feel like that went to her for me crying so much. I didn't even realize it.
I think the same. I was very, very depressed my whole pregnancy. Because of I feel like I was such a go-getter. I had a plan for my life from very young age. I said, this is where I want to be at. My family, my mom, they held me at a certain standard. I was the only one that was, I lived not in the suburbs, but I lived in the unincorporated part of Raleigh. So it was like a lot of my other cousins, they grew up in the projects. I was going to county school, they were going to see. It was just like a big weight on me. And so when I became, I wasn't a young mother, but I wasn't married. But I came from a family of mostly women who were all single mothers, mostly. But it was put on me, you the one that's supposed to, so now I'm unwed. I am in a relationship that I don't think this gonna last, and now I have a child. I am pro-life, but for me, myself, I could not terminate a pregnancy. But I'm pro-life for everybody.
Yeah.
And then also I was at the time unhealed. And then just the weight of anything with anybody changing, regardless of your circumstances, that's a big life-changing experience. So I feel like I hid my pregnancy for a long time. I feel like there was times in the beginning where I actually told myself if you know, if God be, you know, it just
and it's crazy because I was the same way.
And she very emotional too. My baby's very emotional.
But is it a bad thing though? Because we try
it depends on what you harness it to. So if you have an emotional daughter and you got to stop all that whining, girl. It's the way that you make her handle it. Like now with my daughter, she's very emotional. She's very dramatic. I mostly make sure that I'm hearing her. They make sure that her feelings are understood. But I still need you to have some emotional intelligence about yourself. It's okay to cry, but you're not hurt. Nobody has hurt you. It's better to express yourself than to outwardly, you know. Or show the wrong emotion in the moment. So I need you to verbally tell me what is going on. How do you feel? What caused this?
Yeah. You know what? And I'm gonna start doing it because I feel like that's when you saying it is giving me understanding to sometimes how to approach both of my girls, because I feel like both of them have been through things that they're not right now aware of. You know, and even with your mom, like that's how I feel. Like I'm trying to break the generation of curses. You know what I'm saying? I am. It's how I feel like I am. I know that I lived in the hood. It wasn't like, oh, just ghetto, you know, but we call it the hood, you know, because basically where the area is. But my mama made sure that I went to the same school, you know, the optional school. I was provided the best learning, but hey, everybody looked at me like, oh, you think you better than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
and you had to her, because when I met you, I was like, because if we ain't gonna act like in the black community, if you got your own hair, real hair, and it's 22, 24 inches yourself, that is a problem.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Oh God, look, and it just take me back because I was trying to say to him, like, baby, I used to have my own hair, and he liked me with color hair. And I'm like, I used to have my own hair, like down my back. It's not like a lie. You know, some girls be like, I used to have this before I got the perm. No, baby. I had it with the perm and without the perm, you know. But I used to, just going back to it, it's like, people thought that I was the shit. And it's like, no, I want better, and I got to see what my mama wanted for me. You know what I'm saying? She didn't want me to follow the road that I actually did. You know what I'm saying? Going to be with people or around people who weren't good for me.
And I'm dealing with it now, like becoming a mother. There's a lot of topics on stuff, but becoming a mother, I now deal with thinking about how my mama felt in the moment. You see how you said your mama did all this, my mom did too. My mom let me experience a lot of things. Very young, traveling. We would go fine dining. My mom really never told me no about picking stuff up in the store. Shopping wise, you know, I was having coaches purses when I was 8, 9, 10, 11. So then now that I'm a mother, I feel like, was she really wrong them times when she said X, Y, and Z, or she did these actions? Because if I've done everything I could to set you up in a way, I have came, I held you, I didn't saw you make mistakes, and I still came right back with you, you know, to my fault. Yeah. I mean, of course I would be this way with you. Of course my reaction would be a certain way with you. Yeah. Because you doing everything that I have worked for. Because you know, mother sacrifice we do now. If I worked overtime 7 days a week to get you in a different environment, have you in a different place, and I've done all this and really sacrificed my life, and you made these choices.
Yep. I be pissed off too.
Girl, you don't understand why I don't like you, girl. I love you, but I don't like you. So now I see I had to remove myself from, we programmed to have, look at our parents in a godly way.
Yep. And
then now, as I'm into my 30s, I see my mama for a woman.
Who she is.
Yeah, and who she is. Faults, greatness is everything. I see her for exactly who she is as another woman, emotion-wise, physically, you know.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because even when I, you know, knowing you from school, but when we reconnected working together, I would have never known all of these. You know what I'm saying? And it's like similar stories. It's so crazy why, you know, we drawn here today. Because it's like, I definitely understand what you mean by your mother working hard to provide. You know what I'm saying? We, as children, teens, and even adults now, don't or didn't cherish the moments, but also we found understanding to look at them for not just our moms, but as women. Because I do sometimes now have to tell my mom, because I feel like I be counseling my mama. You know, I be trying to tell her like, Mama, I'm the child. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. But I'm like, sometimes me trying to be better than you and now see the things that you lacked in. You know, I'm not saying, because I just told her, I'm like, I wanted my own room. You know, even I was saying my grandma, I'm like, I wanted my own room. You know what I'm saying? She was like, well, I was working. I could get us our own house, but I wanted to stay with my mom because she didn't want me to leave. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, a part of me is angry about it because it's like, I know you had it. I know, but it was like, well, you always in a place of trying to please somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You was in a place of, I feel like you was pleasing my grandma. You was pleasing my dad. And you was pleasing us because I feel like she still do it to this day. But I feel like, when are you going to get a chance to please yourself? And I don't want you to get, you know, because she's what, 64 now? I think 63 or 64. And it's like, Mama, you're still in that mode to where you're trying to please someone else. And then I had to realize I started to do that too with other people, like relationships and stuff. It was like, not what I wanted, you know what I'm saying? But because I see the potential, because I feel like, you know, I gotta please this person. I know what to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I realized like, no, I ain't gotta do that. You know, I don't have to stay here for this. I don't have to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? Because I have to look at her like, that's what my mom, this is my mom showing up in me. This is not who I really am. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely get it. Like, and even when I sent you the prep questions and I was, I asked you about, you know, wait, I think you sent me, I don't know what question it was I asked, but you said you had did counseling. And I've done counseling on and off. And it took me that time to kind of unlock things that I feel like hurt me, you know, hurt me in a way to where I didn't even realize it did. But when you go to counseling, it's also self-work. It's not just going to someone and think they're going to solve the problem. Because sometimes they are able to conjure up those problems and you're going to have to face it.
Yeah.
So even with you going to counseling, what are some of the things that you know for sure now can you say like, I'm able to go directly into it? Like there's no hiding inside of me. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like sometimes we bury things that we should just, you know, attack, and then it'll be a weight lifted, which is like just a saying. But once you go and break through things and break through chains, you do feel that
the weight lifted up. Yeah.
Like, so what is something that in counseling helped you with some of these things?
So I did the same thing you did. The first year it was on and off, like I did 6 months. I also learned that I don't want to use like stereotypical quotes, but I found myself being like, I would say an anger response. And then I had to, cause it was one day I was on the phone with my therapist, we do it over phone. And she actually was telling me about myself. And she was right. And after that, I got that phone conversation and I didn't talk to people for another 8-9 months. But then when I thought about it and I worked through it, I was like, she was right. But then I also had to be reminded that you see what you do when somebody tell you about yourself.
You're defensive.
And I have that very bad.
Running.
Yes, I tell every man I have dated, I have met, I'm a runaway bride. Like I have those symptoms of nothing could be wrong and you get this out the waiting on me and I am gone. Like I would ghost people, but that's because that comes from something, you know. Back to your question was the one thing that I can meet, and I had thought about this days before we got here. I had to sit with myself and I learned through counseling. I have never been a good friend.
And why do you think you ain't never been a good, like,
well, I can say on the surface level,
it could be mean many things, but
on the surface level, I think it stems from the type of female dynamic I grew up around with my mom and her sisters. It's 6 girls. My aunts never really had, my mama never, when I grew up, she never really had friends. Like, you know how you go out to drink with your friends, go out. My mom never did that. My mom either worked or was with me. My mama never even went out of town nowhere but herself until I was 21 years old. My mama, her kids now, cause you know, look, but she would still be with her sisters.
Yeah.
And if my aunts had any friends, which would be one or two, they end up like engulfing themselves with our family, and it was more like they are my auntie's friends, not my just the one individual person friend. And then the dynamic they had as women, toxic and chaotic.
Yeah.
There was never no talking through stuff. We'll get into it, and then next week we back on the farm acting like nothing happened. So not only did it show me a chaotic and toxic way, it never showed me how do you actually cultivate that. How do you actually because being in a village with other women, it's either you have that it's just dominant in the passive person dynamic, or you have just everybody just over the place. But a lot of times with women, people don't understand, it goes very quickly. Just if we sit down in a room, it automatically go into a hierarchy.
Yeah.
If you go to a man's family for the first time, and y'all go and if you try to walk in their kitchen and act like, I don't know, hey, how you doing, ma'am? How you doing? You're immediately judged. And if you go in there and you be like, do you need help with anything? No, because you haven't earned your place to be in here with the rest of us. Now when we get months down the line, they see this working and stuff. Lily, come help me get this stuff out the oven. But the first couple times, this not out of hospitality as people think. This out of a hierarchy. We are not too far removed from the same system that animals do. We humans, but we are the same system. So when it comes to me being a friend, it took me a while. It took me therapy. I actually because I had a very small circle, and I had to actually one day, even though it wasn't received, sit down and say, hey friend, I wasn't being a good friend with you. Going back to how I had an expectation set for me, I can get very judgmental. And I could be, and it could be me pot calling the kettle black. But when you do it, when somebody else do it, I was veering into something. Yeah. But it also come on the other end of me, not saying I'm not a bad friend. It's the mothering in me of being the first daughter, the only daughter, that's saying, friend, girl, you don't have to do this. You could be doing this. Or also me being kind of type A person out of control and saying, girl, all you got to do is A, B, and C and your problem is fixed. But you know, it's not that easy. And then again, you kind of attract and be around the same type of people. So if I just say I'm defensive when a person who is skilled and professional in something tell me something, of course that same woman gonna be defensive. I'm also hanging around unhealed people. I'm also, I felt the time, I know the difference between right and wrong. Now I wasn't raised like deeply, heavily in church, but I was raised around a lot of dope dealers. My mom and them wasn't even drinking alcohol at the gatherings, none of that. So I also feel like I had put myself in compromising positions. That if I had people if I had actually known myself, known what I like, being very self-aware, I wouldn't be in those situations. So I would step back and not only say I was being a bad friend, I would say that I didn't know who I was. So I can't, if you don't know who you are, you're not gonna surround yourself with like people. Cause you still trying to figure out who you are. You're gonna gravitate anything to show you attention and love. There's friends, men, anything. So, you know.
Cause that's I feel like that's definitely a true saying. And I do feel that too, because I feel like even though I'm the baby, I feel like I'm the oldest. You know what I'm saying? And with my friends, I always feel like I got to go in mommy mode. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, even in this past couple months, I've been telling my friends like, you are a bad friend to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, cause I'm always showing up for you. Or I've noticed even one of my friends, when I tell her, or she can ask me for my opinion. And when I give it, she shuts down. I don't hear from her. She don't call. She's standoffish. And I said, I think it was like the second time she's done it this year, I had to tell her, I'm like, hey, I didn't mean anything by what I said to you, you know? And before I even said it, I told you I know how you are. So I didn't want to say really what was on my mind because I know how you take things. But I also don't want to keep holding it inside and then just letting you know, running this walk. Yeah. So I'm like, I feel like when you shut out, you know, when you don't like what I give to you, and then you run away from me, I don't like that, because I feel like, let's talk about it right then. Let's just go ahead and tell me, I don't like that, friend. I don't like that you said that about me, or you feel that way. Say that then. Don't go and run off and then wait a month and then be back talking like nothing happened. I don't like, I learned, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what you just saying, like, hey, start being friends, and then next week be back sitting drinking coolers. You know, no. Let's talk about this today, because I can't progress from that, because I'm still now in my mind thinking about it. Even if I've done it a lot of times, just growing up with some friends that I were childhood friends with, we'll fight. Then tomorrow we right back friends, playing and kicking it. And I had to realize that bothered me a lot, because I'm like, how this is dysfunctional. Like, to not think about things until we got grown. And they were all cousins, but I'm the outsider. And I told them, last time we made up, I said, this is my last time with y'all, okay? I won't be doing this again. I said, so if y'all we don't carry this out, or we can't, you know, talk about it, or whatever the case may be, if this happens again, I'm not doing it anymore. And an incident happened, and we was out of town, and I told him, I said, I told y'all, this was the last time. So I love y'all, but I can't do this anymore with y'all. And they really thought that I was playing. Mm-hmm. And it has taken them, it's about 5 years now. They've really seen, like,
for 5 years.
Yeah, they've seen, because even like things have happened to where we've had to be in the same space with one another, to where people have passed, and their family's just like my family's just like their family. So we would still show support for one another, because you're still a part of me, because I feel like we grew together. You know, some of my secrets are buried with those girls. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but you know, and even they have literally still tried to reach out in between those times, and I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. You know, we probably grown, but I can't do that anymore, because I feel like I'm in another space now. Mm-hmm. And maybe you are too, but I'm not open to keep. I feel like sometimes it feel like a heartbreak. Like
it is.
Like I don't want to be in that heartbreaking space anymore with y'all, because I feel like we have good times when we get back together, but it's always something that's going to happen, and we're not able to just be like, again, the tech, go ahead and you be direct with it, like this, and then we can move forward. It's always this long drawn out thing, and I can't. I had to realize those are things that we need to do. So you're right. Hey, we both might be bad friends for each other, but we got to identify. And sometimes going to counseling and doing those things mm-hmm. do help us to identify some things that we might need to work on. Mm-hmm. So even in that moment, let me see. I feel like my soul has picked this path, okay? Before I was born, my soul picked this path for me. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's a lesson in this path that I have to learn in order to get to my higher self, okay? Mm-hmm. And that comes with, even what you were saying, like, about the religion and the spirituality and being spiritual now. I definitely get it. So with you in this moment, who are you when it comes to the counseling and also the healing process with being your spiritual self, and understanding that maybe this soul, I did pick this path for my soul mm-hmm. for a lesson, you know, to learn something. What do you feel?
I have, yes, I have always been very, very spiritual. Mm-hmm. I have always, from a young child, sat in church. I did, it's tripping. But it would be stuff that did reach me. Uh-huh. So I was more reached by the actual point of it, the actual lesson in the Bible stories, the actual mm-hmm. sermons where, you know, you identify with and it's part of your life. But the antics stuff I never equated with. So, but spiritually, I have always, from a young age, I was telling the lady last week, I have always been this way. I have mm-hmm. always been outspoken. I have always mm-hmm. been kind of headstrong about what I wanted and what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I think that where I'm at now, I have, like you said, I have always known who I was. It was just maybe outside influences, me second guessing myself, me trying to stick into society norms or what other people told me I should be doing, or a lot of it come from me thinking about other people. I have got to a point in my healing where I'm only living for myself. And when I say that, and sometimes women take it wrong too, I mean for myself. That includes my family, my child, anything. People, when you say that, people will take it as you saying you're gonna choose. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I'm making the choices that align with what I want. I now know my purpose. I now know where my strengths lie, and that is no way I feel like God has not led me to help other people. Anybody who has come in contact with me know I will have a 4-hour conversation with a person and try to uplift them. If we have a conversation about something, I'm going to the whole week text you about, let me send you this. You said you want to do this. You said you want to do that. I don't think this is a good idea, girl. You know, and try to help people. And this is where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
You know, and separating myself for things that don't align me. It took me a long time to learn that it's okay to walk away from anybody. Anybody and anything. And like you said with your friend's situation, I had to be okay with, okay, I love you. This with anybody, okay, I love you. I had to mature to know, because I was a person who, if I said I get on Kevin Gates, if I don't like you, you gonna know I don't like you, and I'm not gonna mess with you, and and everybody else don't know. I'm talking about, I would sit in the...
Yeah. And Kevin Gates, when I tell you,
they hugging everybody and they come to my church and I'm like,
Yep.
I'm the one who will say something when nobody else says something.
And I thought that he was so rude. You know, I just think of him being so rude and just nasty. I'm like, I do not like his demeanor. You know what I'm saying?
Don't touch me.
But now, am I spiritual? I'm like, I get him. He's more than right. Do you understand me? He has the right. Because guess what? Hey, I feel the same way. And I feel like, just like he was saying about church, I raised in a church, go to church, Bible study, everything else. But it was not, when you said you could get part of the stories and everything, me, no. It was different for me. Really? I didn't understand nothing. It just wouldn't it wasn't resonating in my soul. I'm doing this for what? Now the songs, cool. The worship,
because do we need a revolution?
I couldn't get the Bible thing. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't. And I'm like, the gist of, the main the main points in the Bible, those main scriptures. Okay, I understand those. But when I tried to read this Bible a couple times, for word,
I don't think it works reading the Bible.
I'm like, I'm confused. Because anytime I can go pull up, Zane and all them, I get it. I'm here. But with the Bible, I just was feeling blank. You know what I'm saying? And it took me to find this lady on YouTube, and I was like, everything that she was saying was, okay, piercing. And it was just about understanding yourself, not thinking of God in one way. It's a man or a woman. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, okay, I'm getting it. My spiritual being, I started cleaning out my closet with people, everything, just myself. I started to understand my gift was being awakened. Because I was like, I'm really, really good at listening to myself. And if I follow my first mind, that's most of the time what I need to do.
Every time.
And I'm like, if people would just get that, you will be so much better off, because I feel like your higher self speaks to you when you need it to. Okay? Because I do feel like it's a lower me now, and a higher me, and probably even higher. But I feel like once I'm asking questions to myself and things like that, I had to just pay attention, listen. Just listen. What you're looking for is within you already. You get what I'm saying? And I was like, I think we were talking about something, and I was asking about us moving or whatever, and I'm like, what I need to do? And it wasn't just me hearing what I need to do. It was like little things kept happening. So I'm like, show me signs that I was like, I gotta move. I gotta move. And that comes with being in this spiritual journey. A lot of things is for me, I have to, I resonate with a lot of stories, even with a lot of religions, okay? So I don't really want to say that I'm Buddhist or a Muslim, you know, or nothing like that, because I feel like I'm all things. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm with whatever resonates. You know, I feel like everybody got a truth in something. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like I have to be just in one thing.
I think the main thing is it's not because, like, say, religion is its own thing. Like you said, I don't care Buddhist, Islam, Christianity. It's actually how you are morally as a person, and that you are believing that there is God.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't. I saw something online that said, in the Bible it says that you should, in a lot of religions, don't put no other God before me. And the man was explaining that actually it doesn't say there's no other gods. It just say don't put one before me. So to know it's a higher power, you don't even have to, well, I ain't gonna say you don't have to, but the thought of praying or going to a worship center or whatever it may be, it's affecting every day how you live your life, the decisions you make, how you treat other people, how you treat yourself. And again, your purpose, what are you leaving on this earth? What are you actually doing?
For.
You know, even if it's just your baby outside playing, the little girl who lives next door, you see their situation, you letting them come in there and sit down with your baby, eating stuff, and at least have this in a safe place. Little stuff. You don't have to go out and be granddare with it. Just are you making a difference? You could be doing it in your own household, your own family. You know your cousin got all them kids and she can't do nothing about it. You know she has been, certain people have been raised in certain environments. Certain men in your family are just gonna always be product of their environment. But today, cousin, hey, I know you, let's go get something to eat. And I'm gonna take you somewhere you ain't never been. In a part of town you ain't never went to. You know, maybe this next time open your eyes up to say, okay, it's bigger stuff out here than what I got going on. I got a little girl in my life right now. All I know is if you show a child something, that's all it takes.
Yep.
Especially with the imagination of a child. If I show you a different type of woman, a different type of black woman, in a different kind of tax bracket, with different kind of cars at home, that's all you gotta do is see it. The same way, on the flip side, these little boys is running around doing wrong. All they did, they saw a different kind of man in a different kind of car with some different type of money, but they just channeled it, getting it the wrong way. But the ambition of it is there. It's there. You just got to get it and put it in the right way.
So with your nonprofit, that is where the mission lies.
Right, but it's so complicated. That's another thing. Like when people, I have to realize, and I see the people who get it. So like when you in a work environment, you know, it's people that really don't complain, and then it's somebody who gonna complain about everything, every step. With me, like you said, us at the job, I have wore a lot of hats so I can see everybody's perspective. I do that in situations. I see everybody's perspective. I know that just like we're helping women or helping our people as brown and black people, it seems simple, but it's not. Even with, like you said earlier about you trying to break generational curses, I have gotten to a point where I realize it's not that simple. If I could say back to, because I'm going to say at least back to slavery, because if I think about it, my grandma born in 1940. We're going to put her grandma in 1920 and her mama probably 1900. Slavery a couple years before that. Every woman from that thing has carried some kind of trauma. Some kind of load. If they weren't single mothers, if they weren't mistresses, if they didn't, like most women, sexual abuse, physical violence abuse, they got a child that got life in prison, that's a lot of weight. But I had to tell my cousin one day, I said, everything I'm doing now, I know that I might not get it right with my daughter. Because people, they hold their weight of saying, I'm trying to do everything I can and they still doing this, of course.
So you cannot be like me.
Yeah, but you got to realize that that's not how generational changes work. If I'm going 3 before me is wrong, it might take till I get my great grandchild for her to be a CEO living in the penthouse in Chicago or New York City. Of course, it doesn't. It's just it stirs. Of course, sometimes we do have those anomalies that jump out in. You, a lady who live in North Memphis, and you raise a doctor. Sometimes that do happen, but in regular progression, it's slow. Just like everything on your personal level, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You know. So I say for me, mine is everything I'm laying to my daughter now. So my great grandchild or my grandchild. My daughter made. I had a child unmarried. I haven't now, but I haven't completed college. I feel like on my list, I do want her to strive for greatness, but for me, I know now my daughter's at a certain age and she has not been physically abused by anybody. I know that my daughter has told me, we in Walmart, they say they got a display of a nursery. She said to me, this how my baby nursery gonna be. And I said, you having a baby? She said, yeah, me and my husband, we're gonna have a nursery, we're gonna build this. This let me know right now she has the ambitions of being not only a mother, but being a wife. I want my daughter to be able to, she doesn't have to go to college, but be able to be set up to have something. You understand that education and furthering herself in some kind of training and knowledge is available. And if I instill that with her emotional intelligence, knowing how to communicate to get a resolution and being okay to say, we might not agree, but we're going to disagree. I had to explain one time my cousin, it's people that grow up and never get in a physical altercation with anybody. Even a verbal altercation with anybody. Because if I'm having a conversation with you and you telling me, well, she got to be tough because somebody out here going to try. Don't you know that if you strive for a higher level,
they ain't gonna try.
That your child might not even get into a confrontation in general. But us being raised in a black society,
we think it's already.
You gonna at least have one fight in your life, girl. No,
that is so crazy.
It's people that I had to get that out of my daughter because one day it was a child acting out. And we got home later. I just was thinking, and I said to her, you see how that child was acting? That's because sometimes they come from something. Maybe they not getting loved at home or they don't know how to handle their anger. I said, what do you do when you get in the anger moment? She looked at me and said, I don't get angry. And it took me to that moment for her to verbally say that, to realize my child has never had a spasm moment, ever. She might cry with the emotion anger. My child has never showed anger.
And that's different because mine's my oldest. I'm going to say, how do I put it? Because of that has happened with her father being murdered and no longer here. Okay. I feel like now she's angry. Because I remember even from now, when she was probably like 6 or 7 years old, when she would get, disciplined or whatever, her first thing would be, I wish my daddy was here. And it's like, I don't feel like I knew how to answer that or what was needed from me in that moment. Because I was young and not understanding like how to revert her back to understanding what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So now I feel like she cries out for that still, but in a different way. Because she's not going to be a teenager, but very defensive, kind of like even with me. I always feel like she got to say something, have something to say. Even with us merging with my man, it's hard for her because I can see it in her, like, they ain't my daddy. Why I gotta listen to him? You know what I'm saying? I wish my daddy was here. You know what I'm saying? I wish, but I had to tell, like, hey, you ain't never had your daddy. You know what I'm saying? It's always just been me and you. Well, me, you, and your sister. It's nothing wrong with being open to the things that you actually want. It might not have it's not coming from that person that you're looking for it to come from because that person's not here anymore. You have to be open to, if that's what you want, somebody's here trying to provide that for you. Because also it's times where I do see that she enjoys having him around. And I feel like sometimes she get in that mode when she's thinking about it, like, I'm having too much fun with this. Like, I'm liking him too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, to the point where I can, sometimes she'll call him Daddy Deuce. And I'm like, you know, I ain't forced you to say dad or nothing like that. But then sometimes she had him over like, oh, I can't stand him. This woo. And I'm like, I feel like it's still a normal thing a teenager would do. But I feel like I've now been able to provide her with the things that she's always longed for, even though it's not the person that she wants, that she wish she could have. But I'm still working on to help her not be in that space and take it further than right now into her adulthood of still being hurt and angry with not having her biological dad here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really trying to, because even when I got them in counseling, I feel like they still were too young. And maybe it being just me, because I don't feel like it's never age is too young, but I feel like they didn't know the meaning of why they were going, you know? And I was telling the lady, I'm like, they're children. I want you to be able to bring out those things that they really need to work on. And maybe it was just me not knowing, because I'm not a professional, but I feel like she wasn't attacking the things that I know is lying deeper, you know, because both of them, like I told them, y'all, like, both my girls, like, y'all have similar stories, you know. One Glitter has a sister older, but Zyla doesn't have anybody besides Glitter. Okay, so Glitter never wants to go to her dad's family house. Okay, but she wants to go to Zyla's family house. And I was telling her, well, no, Zyla was telling her, like, you should want to go over there your grandma and them house. You should want to be with your dad and them, you know, close with them. And I was seeing it as that's what she has it, but she wished she had her physical dad to talk to, because even though Glitter dad is in prison almost for the rest of his life, she's still able to hear his voice. Or if we want to go see him, she's still able to go do that. Zyla doesn't have that option, so she try to sometimes push her sister to be like, when he called, answer the phone, quit doing it, you know. And then it's time where they argue with each other. Your dad this, your dad that, and I had to stop them. Hey, we're not talking about nobody daddies. You know, let's keep daddies out of the conversation, because y'all still are the same. Daddies are not physically here with you in the home. You know, it's times where you don't talk to your daddy for months and it feels the same. You know what I'm saying? So that's what should grow y'all closer to each other. You know what I'm saying? To understand that we might have that pain in the same place, in that hole, but we can fix it together by your family being more supportive than maybe mine is. Because both families, I'm not gonna say both families, I feel like my journey picked, like I said, when I asked you earlier, like, I feel like my journey picked me. You know, I picked this soul for a reason, because even when those two men were no longer in existence, because I feel like both of them, they're not here for me, you know, in this space of being a single mother. Their families was there. Okay, we even had good grandparents, you know, on both sides, has 10, 11 children. So they have these big families on both sides. And I'm like, it's not one to say, well, Zyla can't come over here. That ain't my grandbaby. She can't come over here. I don't have her mom saying, no, Glitter can't come over here. They both make sure that they are never apart. When they call for one, they call for both. And I was thinking, like, I'm glad that I picked, I don't know if I want to say pick, like, that it showed me deeper than just these two men. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's deeper than that for me, because they still blended in a way. Even though it's so much separation with, you know, just the two dads, they're still never apart. Like I told her now, they had Zyla's aunties sleepover. She didn't just say, well, I want Zyla to come over and go to the sleepover. She said, I want both of them to come and sleep, you know, and come up with the girls. And I be like, I really have a village. But I also sometimes feel like my daughter wants to understand that why my dad is not here. What the choices, why did he make those choices? You know what I'm saying? So I do want to learn how you talk to your daughter on how to attack those emotional outbursts. Yeah. You know, how to heal from it now, because I do want you to be better than me. Because I didn't go to college. I never had the desire. And I tell them now, like, you're going to college because it's an experience that you need to experience as a teen. I was too focused on laying up, per se. I was too focused on chasing your dad, you know what I'm saying? And him being out of school, not realizing that a lot of the things I did, like I said, to please him, not to please me. Because even when I had a baby, it was because he knew he wouldn't be here long because of the things he was doing. And he asked me, would you have a baby for me? And me being, I think I'm 16. Hearing it, I thought that was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this fine.
This man has chosen me to have a baby.
Yeah.
And even in the most urban environments, in your mind, you hear that it's so equated to love. So equated to love. Because we taught that a man can hop and sleep around. But it's something that we see that we feel like a baby mama got a little more and a wife got a little more here. But we not taught to think, why would you want to have a baby with me, but you ain't want to marry me?
And see, I'm going to say, we did do that step before because I was in high school. He proposed to me while I'm in high school. He's 2 years out of school. Now, that was the thing. And my grandma and them gave, they blessing everything else. But me still not realizing. I'm thinking this is a cute thing. Like, oh my God, woo. And, they asked me for a child and everything else. Me not thinking about choosing myself. Like, I should be doing something other than this. I'm more than just, a wife or a baby mama. Somebody to have a child with. Are you thinking about what I want? You know what I'm saying? I really wasn't focused on what I wanted. So now I'm thinking like, I did a lot of things.
A lot of times we actually don't know what we want.
That's what I said.
And I think, I commend those people who say, I met somebody in high school and we've been married 30, 40 years. And I also commend them because now as I look back as an adult, you change so much over those years. You change when children introduce into that. Because I never seen it. I never been really immersed with married people. That's another reason why I chose the father of my child, because he came from a nuclear household, somebody I had never seen before. But I think that's why we gotta, again, with the nonprofit, you have to teach young girls that, and young men too, but young girls, because you set the standard. Don't fall for something because everybody else will look good. Because I remember one day we had a conversation, and to this day I keep it with me, that I never would have thought that you were going at a young age, I'm gonna cry, going through the things you were going through or experiencing, because I saw from the outside in, girl, this girl got this fine ass man. This fine ass man. You couldn't tell me that everything that glitter was not gold in a lot of cases, because I had to learn it myself that, it's just that we have to learn that maybe you have to teach a child, especially a young girl, it's not about choosing the wrong person or choose what a man wants you to do, or not saying I don't want to marry and be with this person forever. It's about spending those years in college, those teenagers actually finding out who you are, what you like. And if you don't go out and experience anything, because once you have a child, sometimes for some people, they go out and their parents say, well, leave the baby here, you can go off to college. Or you're not inhibited by any way. You have parents or a village that really just say, go out here and still continue. It slows it down.
That's crazy, because I've also been judged for that.
I feel like to 30. I was telling my neighbor the other day, I ain't gonna say her name, but we had a person who went to school with us just now having a baby at 32, 33, first baby. And I was thinking that if I had waited into my 30s and I thought about also, you gonna get old. 30 is not old.
It's my time. It's probably around the time I could have
done. Now I have learned who I am. I'm a better mother because now I done healed. Even if you don't have to heal, I think if you're dating somebody, especially y'all get together young, y'all might get married, because most times in society we are told once you get married, you don't have a baby. What you waiting on to have a baby? Y'all married now. Take your time, know yourself, or get in a relationship and actually spend the time with your partner. Spend the time to go through those seasons with your partner. And learn each other. Go out here and do whatever you said you wanted to do. Because once you did something, it's not hard to say, okay, after college I picked up and I moved to another city. Or I went back to the same city I went to college with, which is hours away. So now I get married, we have a child. I'm not afraid for us to go and relocate to the other side of the United States or to another country and say I'm fine with it, because I feel like I inhibited myself by staying here. My brother went to
thing. I feel like to be able to move, that's a strong thing.
I give it up to them people who move. I give it to them single mothers who move, and I'm like, girl, you don't have any. I remember when my baby was real little, and I just was so overwhelmed. I had help, but emotionally, I was very overwhelmed because I was such on a streak to say, I'm not gonna do like this. I'm not gonna do this. I want my house to be spick and span. I want to be able to go over these flashcards and this with my baby. I want to make sure she getting out of Jordan boxes. I want to this. I need to make sure every time she leave the house that she got the little pom-poms in her hair and everything is just aesthetically perfect. Because it wasn't until maybe 2 years ago that I realized that we do girls this service by selling them, even if it's the hood Cinderella, but this Cinderella story of this the way life's supposed to go. Yeah. This is the way you post. I feel like that comes into play with that. I'm not paying for nothing in the household. Not saying that you should. I'm just saying to think that on a both people making $30,000, $35,000, $45,000 salary each, that you shouldn't pay for nothing, or letting people tell you in your marriage that y'all got too many kids and y'all actually taking care of your kids. It's just so a lot of it's culturally, but it's just so many things that we shouldn't tell them. Like, go out and live your life, go out and have fun. Like you said about your daughter, the young girl that's in my life, she gonna be a junior in high school, and I had to tell her sometime. I said, these people in your life that supposed to love you have disappointed you so bad that you can't even be happy, girl. You can't be even in a teenage state of enjoying yourself. Because you have been pushed early into this mother role. You're trying to provide for people who supposed to provide for you and themselves, and it's making you grow up early. We don't really grasp how hard and what a bad thing it is to make children grow up early and not enjoy themselves. It wasn't until I got into a religion where I saw women who are actually protected and loved, and they're in such a safe place. Not everybody, but it's people. And then the equation of a mother feeling safe and protected and how she mothers. That's what I be saying about men. And when you single mothers, when you have the right to mother freely and you feel safe and protected, even if it's from your father and your brother, not just, even if you are a single mother, but your father and brother step up in this safe place. I'm in a room automatically, and I have to catch myself from doing this because this is the way I was raised in the environment. You really have to reprogram yourself. And if you get with the right man, he'll deprogram you too. The right man will deprogram you from head to toe. Sexually, mentally, and everything, deprogram you. But it's loud. The kids are loud. I have experienced it in the house where I'm like, y'all too loud in there. We playing. It's kids. Yep. I saw a woman actually remove herself. She was on the phone. Instead of saying, hey, y'all too loud, I'm on the phone.
She gave him the space.
Yes, and I'm finna go out here, walk, and be on the phone. Because I'm finna walk too, because I'm finna keep my body together. Because I thought they let her body together. She was like, well, I'm gonna be on the phone, and I'm finna walk, keep on just walking in a circle and laps to get my steps up. Nobody ever, the adults raise their tone so we can all hear each other. Instead of saying, hey, y'all need to go sit down somewhere. It's even the moment where I was like this talking to people, I'm like, tell the motherfucker sit down. Tell these kids sit down. They just run around and stuff. And then I realized that's a learned behavior to do that. It's a lot of learned behaviors I had to snap myself out with my daughter. And it's a culturally thing to say, sit down. Let them kids have fun. Let them be kids. You trying to literally make a 9-year-old sit down. But there's a difference between our mind and two. And it's also in public things, because you know that in another race, a child can be a child and be bad, unruly. And you can go to high school with this child and grow up, and one day you'll run to that same adult and they are a lawyer and they hold disposition is calm as hell. we are the opposite as people. You sit here and you try to physically punish your child. You yell, try to correct them on everything that can show up perfect for other people in society. And those same children are the ones that people, the first time your child drop a ball, the first time your daughter 16 and pregnant, the first time your son go to jail, he coming there with them truths on and they sagging and stuff like that, you a bad mother. Y'all bad parents. But if you would have took your time, not thought about what nobody else think, and actually pour into your child, and yes, they running around, they ain't broken none of your stuff. And if they broke it, their child, we can give you a little change for your stuff. I'm sorry. Don't do that. Don't run in here. Now, it's different between having rules and trying to rule a child.
Yeah, you definitely right, because I do see that.
I find myself saying something to my child just because, and it's exactly the same way I was raised. And then something I had to sit with myself and say, you didn't even have to address that. My daughter, she a little girl. We at the school, when black people get different environments and turn it to other people.
Oh, people.
She slouched down in the chair. I'm like, sit up. I'm like, sit up. Like this. This is a 9-year-old child though. At 13, 14, of course, lady, sit up. But until you get to a certain age, and that's another thing we don't do culturally. Other cultures, certain restrictions not put on kids until they are a certain age to actually understand. This is what I'm saying to you, and this is why. I'm asking you. You're a young lady.
Yeah.
We putting it on little girls to do the same thing we require a young lady to do. It ain't fair.
Yeah.
You have to. Do I say it's way more complex?
Yeah.
But it actually started in your household, because sometimes I had to tell myself too. I feel like I had a mother where I'm trying to save everybody. My grandma, kids, her grandkids, everybody that let's save us all. It started, if every individual household started just doing this, as a whole, it would be better.
I feel like that too. Like, I'm always trying to do the kickbacks. I'm always trying to get the family together. I'm always trying to see the bigger picture, but I have to realize, like, everybody ain't gonna like
Fuck them kids. Fuck them kids. Worry about your kids.
That's what I have to realize. Like, everybody ain't gonna like what I'm doing.
Everybody not gonna understand.
And
that's where it gets to being around like-minded people. I had to I told myself also, I'm related to a lot of people. Everybody's not my family. The family that I will have is gonna be composed of people who have like-minded with me. I can't, not being judgy, but it's certain things that certain people don't understand. It's certain things that people don't get, and it's certain things culturally that some other people learn to just mind your business.
Mind your business. Mind the business. I don't care, pay you or don't pay you, but don't mind my business, because it's too much. It's too much.
I've been saying since my baby was little, I'm raising me a free black child. It's not. I'm not moving off of what I've been taught. I'm moving off the thought process of my only requirement in being a parent is to teach my daughter life lessons and how to survive on her own. We still animals. That's the only thing an animal gonna teach their child. Their child is to how to make a home and how to eat and survive and not be infected. So that's my only thing. I need to teach you how to operate in the world. So that's emotion. How to feed yourself and take care of yourself. That's when you're going through. I'm teaching you your hygiene. I'm teaching you washing the dishes so you can know how to take care of your household. I'm actually making you get an education and finish school and helping you find out what your passion is so you can provide for yourself. That's the food. And then the example I said is how you're going to in turn raise your children. If we were animals and I showed you a place to make a home that's gonna flood every fucking year, you're gonna teach your children the same thing. If I teach you how to make a home that's on top of the mountain, so when it flood, all they house is gone.
You'll see a
right. That's my only thing.
And that's even with
even
mentally,
when I'm not here.
physically, everything. It's the same way, inner and out. It's the same thing. If you build the mental to be that way, it'll be that. You know what I'm saying? You'll stand alone. You know what I'm saying? You'll see you at the top. Right. And everybody below you, because guess what? You shed the people. You have to let them go.
And that's what teaching your child. I see now, especially with children, number one thing is teaching your child individualism. You eliminate a lot of stuff when you teach your child. Even again, I know I keep on going back to culturally, but we have to work on ourselves.
Yeah.
People of color. When you tell your child certain things and phrases that we are just equipped to already do. Individualism is okay. If your child go in here and say, I'm picking these K-Swiss on the wall because I want to wear these. Nah, that ain't in style. Let your child do you. I would rather have the weird child than the one who put on and is supposed to be on, and by goddamn 19 they have reached their peak. A professor had to tell me that one time. A lady, she over Women's Studies University, and we was having a conversation. And she told me, do you not realize that the people who were so cool in high school, it's not scientifically and psychologically supposed to where a human being has its peak at such a young age. If you are a person, it's very few people who have such this highness and keep it going their entire life. Some people, Beyonce, but it's some people. Everybody not Beyonce. But the people who gradually, I'm serious, we had to always quote the queen.
Definitely.
Look, my baby was in her tumbling class the other day, and I said, "Oh, ma'am, what would Beyonce do?" That lady turned around, she said, "What?" I said, "You remember what would Jesus do? What would Beyonce do?"
What would Beyonce do?
Okay,
You ain't lying.
that's the blueprint right there.
Yeah. But at the same time, even when being talking about the individual, my man was saying, you didn't teach them to work together. You know, everybody should be able to learn how to be a team player. And I thought I was wrong because I feel like everybody not born to be a team player.
But what aspect was he saying? Like as far as them being like sisters in the house or
no,
other
that
kids?
That too. Because I don't really. I feel like me. I don't feel like they have to share with each other sometimes because I buy them the same things. Okay, so now I see sometimes it's a problem. Okay, but even when they go other places, like they ain't gotta get it to that person. They ain't gotta do that. You know, they ain't gotta share with her. They ain't. You know, you supposed to be able to share. Get it to her. Share with her. I'm like, no, they should. They got their stuff. They don't gotta get it to that person.
So it's kind of a balancing act, because if you always apply the thought of my job as a parent, though. No, my job as a parent is to teach you life lessons. So on the level you taking it from, yes, you are right, because you sharing with somebody, you have to give it to related to. Give me a scenario when you're an adult person that you would do that. That you only teaching the child lessons and helping them so they can pass the test that life gonna get them. Where do you think that a person would be tested as an adult to say, sure, let them get that, even though they kids, let that person have that. Let do that, because sometimes when you do that, you foster a child to give too much away.
That's
adult who give too much away. But then it's the other balance of the sharing kind of go into community, the giving, the servitude, all that. So it's a balancing act. It's a difference between sharing with your sister and then coming back and saying, hey, respect your sister boundaries. She said don't mess with her stuff.
Yeah.
Don't go in here and give her stuff. And then there's a balance of, now your little friend don't have, and you see her mama. Now, let me express to you about being a good friend. You always have to, when you correct the child, like we was taught, just do as I say. No, I never do that. Everything has an explanation. Even if I have to wait till we get in the car, we driving home. I don't embarrass the child in front of other people.
I do not.
I don't believe in where you act up at. I don't believe
when you
in
get treated. No.
Now I will correct you.
That pissed me off.
Yeah, with my job profession, I've seen that.
That pissed me off. I was at East Fashion out here in South Haven, and it's a black lady and her daughter. And when I got into the store, I heard them, and she just. You're not gonna do that? I'm gonna embarrass you in the store in front of all these people. And this one, I'm like, it was bothering me because I feel like the little girl, she's like, if you cry, I'm gonna whoop your ass. And I'm like, do you realize how